Yeah, unfortunately, I was down there, and it was a little wet and muggy, but they couldn't keep the Washington team away from doing practice today. And honestly, the offense looked really, really good. But I did see some consistencies down there. Ron Rivera talked about having a constant rotation, but there were a couple of things that I noticed, especially in the secondary. Now, for the most part, the secondary was the same as it was yesterday. We had Troy Apke and Landon Collins as the free and strong safeties, respectively. Ron Darby was at the corner position, but there was a switch between Kendall Fuller and Jimmy Moreland. They switched positions, so Moreland was more in the slot now, and Fuller has an outside corner. And also the receivers, that's pretty much stayed the same as well. Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims, and Dontrell Inman were the starters, working with Dwayne Haskins at first. And then we had the second group, which featured AGG, Antonio Gandy Golden, Trey Quint, and Cam Sims. All of them have looked really good so far. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Having a lot of different players switch positions goes right along with what head coach Ron Rivera has said, as they want guys that can play multiple spots, to learn multiple positions, not just lock in on what they have. That's the way that they feel that you're going to be able to have depth and have the best out of these players. But it becomes to a question then of who's going to play what and when, who's going to start, especially when it comes to that free safety spot. Who's going to be playing opposite of Landon Collins? Well, that question was posed to Landon himself.
Apthy. I've been playing next to Apthy, Sean Davis, and DeShaja Everett throughout the camp. So I think today, y'all, like I said, y'all said today, y'all saw me with Apthy today. So just being on the same page. Like I said, my biggest thing is communication. I move around a lot. I decide on what side I want to play on the side of the ball. So just being on the same page with the guys that's next to me is the biggest key. And knowing what you got to do, because you could give me a key, you could give me like a little nugget to tell me, hey, I need to move a little bit wider because he feels like a run is coming my way or a pass might be coming my way or I might be giving up my leverage. So same thing when I give those guys. So just being on the same page is everything. And knowing the knowledge of the game. I mean, they I think a lot of them they get a lot of play time, and just knowing what they can and cannot do with doing this training camp is teaching them a lot.
You've played next to all three of them. So at this point, is there someone that you feel like you have the most intuitive comfort with, like you don't necessarily need to communicate certain things, or like you just have a certain simpatico with one of the three guys that's played free safety? Or if I feel like you might say you don't want to pick one, but you might say like what are their strong suits if you don't pick one of the three?
It's different for each guy, but like we all communicate. To pick one right now is like I said, it's I think week 3. I mean, not week 3, day 4 of practicing. So I'm still going through rotations just to feel out who I can really, communicate more with and be on the same page with.
It's like asking somebody to pick a favorite, one of your teammates. You can't do that, right? Because then you're going to kick someone out. But look, they are rotating. It is very early on, Zach. If you were, though, to sit there and say who you think is going to be starting opposite of Landon and who's looked the best next to him, where would you go?
Well, Landon might not be able to pick a favorite, but I certainly am. So I'm going to go with my boy Troy Apke. Now, we talked about him earlier back, but he has really been the guy. At the starting free safety position. Then Ron Rivera really likes him because he's a smart player. He does a lot of things well. He's absorbed what he's supposed to do in this defense. And Landon Collins has also said the same thing. He said he's picking his brain, trying to figure out different things to do in the secondary. And honestly, Ron Rivera said that he had to work on his angles a little bit. And, sure, he's a third-year player, so there are some things that, he still needs to work on. But I say that Troy Apke, if you go off the past 2 days, he is the guy. He's the guy we all need to be paying attention to. And honestly, I thought that Sean Davis was going to be that guy early in camp. But no, Troy Apke has come on, and so far, he's the guy.
Yeah, it is very early on. We actually talked to him a little bit later in the show, and I asked him about how Coach said he wants him to work on his angles and how he plans to be able to do that as camp does progress. Again, it's a little early to see, but they're trying to figure out which guy fits in the best spot. If we stay in the secondary but maybe move to the corner position, Fabian Moreau is somebody that they moved from the inside to the outside last season. We haven't really talked a lot about him. Have we seen enough to be able to kind of figure out where he's going to play?
Yeah, so for right now, he's working with the twos. Like we said last year, he was one of the big starters, and he played really well last year. But now he's working with the backups. But I wouldn't look too much into that right now because Ron Rivera has said pretty much every day that he wants to have a solid rotation of guys at every single position because they're trying to find out the right combination. It's only 2 days in camp. We're not going to be able to create a depth chart off of just a couple hours of camp essentially. So yeah, Moreau's working with the twos right now, but it could change as early as tomorrow. He might work in there in the slot or maybe on the outside where he played well last year. So he's done some good things with the twos. So maybe things are going to change. I think they could for sure.
A player that they only had in the slot last season was Jimmy Moreland, but they're trying to use him outside as well. Where do you see him fitting in? And then also when it comes to Ronald Darby?
Yeah, Jimmy Moreland is a guy that they really have used on the outside and on the inside. And we talked about it a little bit. And last year he was mostly a slot corner, but Chris Harris has said that he can play on the inside and the outside. He's got the athletic ability to do that. So that offers the versatility that all these coaches love talk about. And as far as Ronald Darby goes, he has really come on and he has proven himself to be a quality starter for the team so far. And Landing talked about Ronald yesterday, and he said that he thinks that Ronald is an excellent corner. He's done some good things at Buffalo. He played well with the Philadelphia Eagles for 3 seasons, and he's done some good things in his career so far. So, and he's impressed his coaching staff in the past couple of days. So I think and plus on top of that, he's made a couple plays as well yesterday. So I think he's played really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just keeps that corner position for the next week.
Yeah, I think if he stays healthy and continues on the path that they are hoping for him, he could very well be their best corner out there. But again, we will see as camp does progress, keeping a close eye on where they fit into the rotations.